Some betrayals shake not only your heart, but your entire life. A newlywed man, ready to live the life he dreamed of, was unknowingly walking into a trap. His wife and mother-in-law shared a secret in their native language, keeping him in the dark. Driven by curiosity, he secretly recorded them. What he heard revealed that not just his marriage, but his entire life was built on a lie. What game was his beloved wife playing? And what would he do now? The excitement of the new marriage was still fresh. Their small but intimate wedding symbolized the beginning of their life together. Despite coming from different cultures, their love seemed strong enough to overcome any obstacle. But something was amiss. Little details. Easy to overlook, but internally disturbing. His wife and mother-in-law often spoke in their language. Initially, it seemed normal, but over time, he began to feel excluded. He wanted to communicate and asked his wife to help him learn the language. However, she dismissed it as unnecessary, closing the topic. Yet an unsettling feeling grew inside him. As time passed, a particular phrase in their conversations caught his attention. "You have to take care of this." Though he didn't understand the full meaning, his mother-in-law's constant repetition of this phrase fueled his growing suspicion. What did she have to take care of? And why was her mother so persistent? Meanwhile, another oddity became apparent. His wife, who had planned their future together before marriage, now frequently rejected his request to travel abroad. He tried to plan a honeymoon, but each time she dismissed it with, "I'm too busy with work," or "now isn't the right time." These growing suspicions pushed him to seek evidence rather than rely on intuition alone. He found a solution at work. A colleague who spoke his wife's language became his ally. Casually, he asked, "Do you know this language?" When the colleague responded, "Yes," something stirred within him. He wanted to understand those phrases. So he took a bold step and decided to secretly record his wife and mother-in-law's conversations. The next day, with the recording in hand, he approached his colleague for help. As the coworker put on the headphones and began translating, the man's heart pounded. Within seconds, his colleague's expression shifted. "Are you sure you want to hear this?" A cold chill enveloped him. In moments, he would learn that his entire life was based on a lie. His heart thundered in his chest as his colleague removed the headphones and locked eyes with him. "Are you really sure you want to hear this?" the colleague asked again, but he couldn't turn back now. He had to know whatever it was. And then the words came out. Each sentence stabbed his heart like a knife. He was nothing but a means to an end. His wife and mother-in-law had chosen him solely for financial security. His mother-in-law was drowning in debt, and his wife had deceived him to save her family. But the most crushing blow came from his wife's own words. "Manipulating him was so easy. He believes anything I say. He's so naive that he takes everything as the truth." These words froze his soul. The woman he loved, for whom he was willing to sacrifice everything, saw him as nothing but a bank account. But this was only the beginning. The conversations contained even darker details. His mother-in-law urged her daughter to gain full control over him and even exploit him further for money. His wife agreed, even planning how to do it. He struggled to breathe, having never experienced such betrayal. Every moment, every term of endearment, every embrace. It was all a lie, but he wouldn't let his emotions control him. Instead of confronting them outright, he decided to play their game by their own rules. First, he had to secure his finances. They had joint accounts, and there was a substantial sum saved up. For a few days, he acted as if nothing was wrong, pretending everything was normal. But every night, after everyone was asleep, he slowly transferred money into his personal account. During this, he would initiate small arguments with his wife, claiming, "I'm setting it aside for investments, securing our future to maintain the facade of normalcy." Then he made more recordings to gather additional evidence. He tracked her conversations with her mother and even took online language lessons to understand them better. Each day brought more clues about their deceit. Eventually, he uncovered another shocking truth about his wife. She had a secret bank account. She was siphoning a portion of his salary and the money he gave her into a fund solely in her name. Learning this extinguished his last glimmer of hope. It was time to end this marriage, not with a dramatic confrontation, but with a quiet, devastating plan. For weeks he acted as though everything was fine. His wife thought her plan was working, and his mother-in-law believed their debts would soon be gone. But behind the scenes, he was preparing his final move. When that night came, everything would change. That night, everything changed. Armed with evidence, documents, and the weight of betrayal, he sat at the table. His wife, engrossed in her phone as usual, had no idea how far his plan had progressed. But the final act was about to begin. Taking a deep breath, he said, "We need to talk." The calmness in his voice unsettled her. As she looked up, the expressionless gaze in his eyes was the calm before the storm. "About what?" she asked, pretending everything was normal. He slowly pulled out his phone and played the recordings. Conversations with her mother, the moments they ridiculed him, the chilling words, manipulating him was so easy. They echoed through the room. Her face drained of color and her hands began to tremble. This isn't true," she stammered, but he cut her off. "Enough. Don't lie to me anymore because I know everything." Tears streamed down her face, but he no longer believed any of them. Each drop was just another part of her deception. The woman before him was not the person he had loved and dreamed of a future with. "I didn't deserve this," she sobbed, wiping her tears. But his response was clear. "You used me. You betrayed me. I truly loved you. But to you, I was just a wallet. And now you'll pay the price." As she continued to weep, he pulled out an envelope. Inside was the divorce petition. He had made all his financial moves in advance. Joint accounts emptied, assets transferred to his name, all loopholes closed. Seeing the papers, she lost control. "You can't do this to me. I'm your wife," she screamed, but he just smiled. "Not anymore. And you can't change anything. All your accounts are frozen. No one will pay your debts. And most importantly, everyone will know who you are." She froze in shock. He would execute his plan mercilessly. All the recordings and evidence were sent to their close friends and family. Everyone would see her true colors. There was no one left for her to manipulate. She collapsed at the table, consumed by the realization that she had lost everything. But he felt no remorse. He had loved her. She had destroyed him. That night, he packed his bags and left to stay at a hotel. His wife's desperate attempts to stop him were futile. It was over. And he had taken his revenge in the quietest, most ruthless way possible.